You asked, and we deliver. Are trampoline parks safe for my children and family? The short answer, they can be. The long answer, most likely the trampoline park is not following the standards, nor their manufacturer's guidelines for their attractions, and most likely the number one problem is staff training. I'm seeing it in the industry. Staff training has failed on multiple occasions where the staff was not in attendance where they should be. They should have properly warned the patron, or if they did in some cases, because I do work for defense attorneys also, the patron was properly warned and did what they were not supposed to or warned against. My practice as an expert witness started decades ago in the aerial adventure park industry. But in 2016, this tragic accident of a little girl occurred in a trampoline park in Texas. As the plaintiff attorney contacted me and sent me all the investigation files, I noticed that the number one problem was training. Improper training. No training at all, whatever it might be. It's unfortunate that this child had to be placed or guarded by a staff member that should have never even touched the tether, let alone gathered it while this child is climbing up something. The tether was meant to stop the young girl's fall. It's a TrueBlue auto belay that retracts as the child moves upward. Now granted, the child should have been stopped from pulling and instructed to just climb the columns, allowing the tether to slowly move up into the TrueBlue device, creating a sense of security that if there was a fall, it would slow her down. Unfortunately, as you've seen in the video, this didn't occur. Tip number 1, train your staff weekly. 1 hour a week will give you 52 hours a year. The standards require 40 hours of training. What do you want to train on, you ask? Well, you should train around the accidents that you might see in this video, because I'm seeing many accidents that involve ball pits, jumping areas where people are doing flips, and they should never do flips. Flips should be banned for most trampoline parks unless they have the right devices to train people to do a flip properly. There's always a risk going into a trampoline court. But as a trampoline court owner, you should advise and warn your patrons with every possible location. Any of your flat surfaces, even your floors, should contain valuable information like no running, or no diving into ball pits, or no jumping, landing on your feet in an airbag. All these ideas come from your manufacturer's guidelines. Now the standards were shocked and jumped to help the industry in 2012 when a 30-year-old young man, Ty Thomason, attempted a backflip into a foam pit while his friends were watching. He miscalculated and landed on his neck, breaking it in 5 places, and was pronounced dead a few days later. Now this accident could have been stopped by saying no flips. So as you continue watching in this video, I'll try to warn you as often as possible when there's a graphic incident that's going to maybe be traumatic for you to watch. As a trampoline court inspector, I see some real horrible trampoline parks. Some of them are the biggest franchises in the country. Some of the problems are related to lack of video inspections or images taken during inspections, and I recommend that. If you're going to do your inspections, make sure you capture it on video. Use a GoPro, chest harness, and turn it on when your staff goes out and starts looking at those springs or looking at that foam pit or looking at that attraction to make sure it's safe for your patrons. If it's not safe, shut it down. That accident in Arizona sparked ASTM, the American Society for Testing and Materials, to develop trampoline court standard. ASTM 2970 was developed and published in 2013 to try and combat some of the trampoline park accidents that were occurring in the industry. Accidents are a lose-lose for you and the patron if you're the owner or staff. Accidents are memorable for everyone involved. It's a lose-lose. The only people that win on accidents are the plaintiff attorneys and the defendant, because it's a win-win for them. They both get paid. Tip number 2, following the standards lowers the owner's risk. What I have noticed is the standard often defaults to manufacturer's guidelines, so both should be used when you're training your staff members. This means keeping all the attraction manuals and manufacturer's guidelines and train personnel with them. Train with the standards whenever possible. Training staff and management is always needed, and you need to document it. And I would say video record it also. Keep these trainings for your attractions and device operation manuals, and all these documents, keep them in a secure location that's readily available if need be. I guarantee you'll need them at some point and be required to produce them in an incident at some point in this. If you're a trampoline park owner, get involved with the standards. For about $100, you can receive the ASTM F24 volume 1507 for trampoline parks. In this volume is more than 20 standards, and several are applicable to you, such as ASTM F770, which is for ownership of an amusement ride or attraction. Tip number 3, get involved with the standards. Be party to when the new standards come out. You can vote on them, you can advise on them, and you can also produce rationales for areas of your trampoline park where you're seeing some problems occurring that you want to have addressed in the trampoline park standards.